and welcome back to the Talking Wednesday podcast. This time it's episode 17, and 17 is apparently our unlucky number because
that lady's sung.
She has, and also, in case we did get relegated, I've been coming up with some ideas for bits. So you might have seen a little bit of a bit at the start of this podcast. And Punk has no idea what I'm talking about, but I've had a few ideas. So you might have seen that, so hopefully you enjoyed that. But yeah, Sheffield Wednesday are relegated. It's confirmed. A hell of a final day. I mean, I've come off the... Go on.
We happily accept our position into the League One because, well, face it, we've been dog shite.
Yeah, we've been absolutely awful, and I said it all. There's a video up on my channel now, probably one of the fastest videos that's ever spun around. That I already had an idea what I was going to do for it, to be fair. So it was okay. It was not a hard one.
It's not good, is it? It's not good that we were already planning this.
Yeah, it was okay. I'd made two thumbnails because the thumbnails are the big time. You know, the thumbnails and the upload are the bit where you do and the edit. But because I kind of knew what I was doing now, if I process it on my laptop, my laptop's a lot faster at processing video, so I can get stuff out in decent quality. So I knew what I did. I just needed to fire it out, do the cuts, get the music that I always get for my funnier videos, and just whack that one out. But yeah, the thumbnails were a thing. Last night I made two thumbnails. I made a relegated one and a survival one, and the survival one is not getting uploaded and used, which is the sad time for Sheffield Wednesday. So
if we're gonna actually just say in terms of a game, if you're neutral, you would have loved the game.
Yeah. Oh, the neutral. I will say that people that have come to the channel from the stream, at one point I had 500 viewers, and we had over 400 for a lot of the stream in that, which is double our best, because our record best was like 200. And the last day of the season, it was that mental. We had like half a thousand people for a channel with just over 3K subs. That's mental. The big channels don't get that. You know, only the massive channels are pulling those sort of numbers. So thank you if you have found us through that. It was brilliant. I want to say, because it was our last stream where we'll probably need heavy moderation, thank you to Punk and thank you to Soph for the stream moderation.
I will say Soph did a hell of a job. I was in and out trying to do stuff and trying to mod your channel and be a fan and then watch it and be like, she did a hell of a job today, because a bit where I dropped the ball and she was on it. So
we're not going to look at yeah. Thanks, Soph, for that. She'll probably never watch this, but we'll see. It's one of those where we're not going to go through reviews and things like that. Obviously, you'll understand that. We did miss one. There was one, I think, from a different country that didn't pick up. I'm going back to it. Don't worry, you've not been forgotten. It popped up the other day. I'm going to find it again. But we are going to do all that next episode. Just a bit of housekeeping before we do it. It's going to be the relegation episode today. There was news stories. There's nothing vital. It's just contract talks, things like that. We're going to pull that in. We've obviously got a lot of weeks without football now, so we can go back to those news stories if it's necessary as they develop. But it's usually a news podcast, but the biggest news is Sheffield Wednesday relegated. That's going to be the focus today. Just a heads up, we are going to be recording for next week's episode. That's going to be the episode where we get the fan interaction. It's going to be kind of like our end of season review. This is going to be very much that, but it's going to be our thought out end of season review. But it's going to be. Go on. It's going to be our. This is the thing. We're so wound up. We're talking over each other for the first time. It doesn't usually happen. This. I'll carry on. So, it's. I've lost my train of thought now. Go on.
This is the after show kind of thing we used to do. Before we did the podcast, where we would do after the match, because there isn't much to do. Because
there's loads to talk about, but
I did message James midweek going, I haven't done anything for the actual thing because it's been a bit of a bad week. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to need it. And he's right.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is. It's one of those. What I do need though is I need this port that I've been saving from Christmas. So bit of ASMR for the podcast listeners, if we can get it. Hang on.
Oh, lovely.
And I'm gonna drink some port when I've only had Weetabix today, so this could be interesting.
Oh, good.
I think.
And you got a podcast though, edit.
Hang on. I'll tell you what. Let's not be. Hang on.
And you got a podcast.
I'll tell you what. Let's not be. That's a glass, right? That's a glass. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you need for a Sheffield Wednesday relegation. I don't usually drink port, but it was from Christmas. It needed drinking, so that's what I found next to me. So 20%. This is going to be fun, right? This relegation. Before we go into that, yes, I was saying the community special is going to be next week. We're going to record it in the week. We're going to get people emails. But if you're watching this on the Sunday, potentially check your inbox or keep an eye on it today. If it didn't come in last night, there should be an email that I've replied to the people that got in touch and wanted to do the call-ins. It's going to be a very quick turnaround, so make sure you've checked it, and we will get in touch with people because it's going to be the community special next week, and then we're going to take
Twitter,
it from there.
I really wish I didn't.
No, we are
going to have a look.
We are going to. No, I've been on. We're going to bring all that reaction because I want to bring other reactions on things like that. I've done a poll on Twitter because I wanted a quick reaction. People are currently reacting to my video. It's all very reactionary as it goes off. But let's try and keep something of this podcast traditional, Punk.
Yes.
And we'll start with, tell me what you saw today.
I saw a team that actually put the effort in. And it's the most effort I think we've seen from them. And it was nice. But there's only so much of that effort you can give. And I love the fact that during your stream you were saying, let's wipe the smug look off Rooney, because he was smug all game.
He was smug.
And it was doing my head in. Yeah. You cannot fault when the player performance today. The performance was bang on what you needed, apart from the win. And
sorry, that's just that's Michael Owen level. Well, it was exactly what they needed, except they needed the win and they didn't get it.
You know what I mean? That we haven't seen this kind of performance all season.
No, yeah, I get you.
Where you saw Cardiff, the players, but you saw the players at the end, and there were some genuinely upset players there, kind of thing. And I think there was some upset players because they know they're not going to be there next season.
Well, let's talk about the way the game panned out first, and then we'll talk about all of that.
I reckon it was more all Derby to start with. I don't think we had a foot in it at all. I was very worried watching that game.
First 20 minutes, it just seemed like we couldn't get a grip on possession. It was doing me nutting on stream. I remember saying it, and it was difficult to actually get a hold of a ball. And I thought they're going to score here, and then obviously Rotherham scored early on, so we thought I did relax a bit because I was like, well, it's out of our hands now.
I thought all games had to start at the same time.
I think they did, but I think the Rotherham kicked off like 5 minutes earlier because the ref or whatever. But joke. I think because we were on Sky, actually, sometimes you kick off 5 minutes later because they're sorting all the cameras out and there are breaks and all that, and Sky dictate it, so there's that side of it.
Guy, thanks.
Yeah, well, it kept it interesting for sure. So go on then, how did the match play out after that?
I think once we got the goal at half-time, before half-time, it's like, great, we're in it. And even though Hutchinson scored, I had that whole thing where you go mental with the celebration, like, it's not over yet, Hutch.
No, and also people were saying, he's offside, but actually the Derby defender was playing him on, which you couldn't see the first angles.
To give credit to Rhodes as well, Rhodes put a lot of his body on the line today.
He put his head on the line for that goal.
He really... Well, he had it earlier in the second half where he had a cut on his face as well. And then it going forward, and it's one of those situations where second half we played a lot better. We did look better, but you could always tell Derby had that in their locker. Kind of thing. And when they did the sucker punch 1-2, it was a cracking second goal, let's be honest. Their second was lovely. And Borner, I don't think he knew he headed it. I think it just pinged off his head. He's that kind of player who's in the right position all the time this season at times, where he just stands there. And there were questions offside with that, but he's on. Well,
let's just say my big Dunks tweet, which was like when I saw Dunkley was in the starting lineup, has aged worse than anything I've ever tweeted.
Well, can I also say this now? Do not go give Dunkley abuse on Twitter.
No, it's his first game back in as well. Yeah. It's his first game back in. I did obviously there's more to it, and a lot of people will be like, "Why are you giving any players credit?" But like Dunkley's, he's not played enough this season for us to actually say he's part of that, you know. And when he has played, he's put his heart on the line.
I think in League One with him and Iorfa, we're going to be we're going to be lovely in defence.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. We can start planning for League One now. That's the
Yes,
thing.
we can.
The people are like, oh, please continue the podcast because most people only care. Well, there's certain Wednesday fans, big Wednesday fans, that only care when we've got a chance of promotion to the Premier League and then they disappear when we're struggling. We are through and through Wednesday. We'll be there. We'll be through the League One stuff. I'm going to probably be heavy with work and stuff, so it's going to be a bit more difficult. Maybe one of us can only make it to certain matches or cover the matches.
We're going to have the Papa John Trophy to look forward to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
come on,
definitely. Good old Johnston's paint trophy.
When we got it to like 3-2, I think we were all like, nah, we can't do this. We can't do this. But we were happy. No. And it's the most happy we've been.
And then the most Sheffield Wednesday thing ever happens. I'm going mental on stream because Cardiff have just equalised and we're 3-2 up. And in the 30-second span of me going mental, what happens?
We give a penalty away and they make it 3-3.
Exactly.
But you know what the mental thing is? You know what the mental thing is? We've been out of the bottom 3 for 1 day and 30 seconds. All season.
Have we?
Yeah, we've been out for 1 day and 30 seconds.
Wonderful. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought we'd been out for a little bit longer than that, but clearly
no. It was like 1 day we were out for.
I also do want to say congratulations on Wycombe from the relegated, but getting third from bottom because we're so points deduction actually, but on merit from Rotherham.
Yeah,
well done, guys.
To be fair, to say both to Wycombe and Rotherham, you've put more of a fight than we did. And we'd had so many chances to do it. But the thing is, this bottom 3 rates have been down to every single club bottling it at the vital time when they'd had the chances. Rotherham should have been miles away with how many games they had postponed and replayed. And they couldn't do it. And that full-time whistle goes, you see all the players collapse, and it's like, yes, we understand it, but we're not going to see some of you next season. And for good reason, because we need a rebuild. Rebuilding League One is going to be a lot harder, but if Chancey stuck with what he's always said, he's backdoor managers, let Moore do his job.
Right, that's a good thing because we're not really topic based today, but we are going to go into this topic because I asked in the aftermath of the loss, so there'll be emotion in this. I asked on our Talking Wednesday Twitter @TalkingWed, please go and follow that for Christ's sake. It's got 97 followers, and we're one of the most watched podcasts for sport, for like championship football and all that. So please build up our Twitter following. But yeah, it's got sell and rebuild. So the question was, it was a poll on there. I said, should Chancey sell or rebuild? It's currently, and this will change over the course when you go back and look at this, it'll probably change because it's up for a day. Currently, as it sits, 75% of people say sell, 24.4, 75.6 and 24.4 say rebuild.
The problem you've got
that's 3/4 of the fan base.
We know what Chancey's asking price is. Well,
300 million on it.
We apparently know it was like 150 million.
Is it gone now?
350 million is what he put into the club, apparently.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And he wants 150 million for the club. Well, you're not going to get that for League One.
No, definitely
at all. If you look at what Darren Moore said on the Twitter with the fans. Also, credit for Darren Moore for being there in the rain when you just had pneumonia.
Yeah.
You mentally.
You nutcase.
I like you.
Right.
I like you, but...
We're gonna get the same couple of commenters we always get in the chat going, it's Darren Moore's fault. What is your issue with him, right? Because he's been like one of the better sparks since coming in. And yes, the results haven't been amazing under him, but the players have... This is the difference. If you're watching every match, you can see the players want to play for him, and the genuine upset that's come into it from here has been because of that. But I asked that poll. The reason I asked that is because I want us to talk about, should Chancey sell or rebuild? What do you think, Punk?
I think he should sell, but I also think that could be we could go down a Derby route of waiting for a sell.
They stayed up today because there are us there, so it's one of those.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Wigan just stayed up and they had their situation, but his goal was to get up to the Premiership and it's not worked. We don't hear anything from him. For me, right now, we're down. We know that. Monday, there should be a statement from Chancey saying what the plans are coming soon or soon. Because we don't hear anything. We hear
sack
these
off
stupid-
Monday. He should have prepared for this, and he should be out now.
Yeah.
We should see breaking news during this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
but the problem that I'm scared that breaking news is going to be Darren Moore had been let go. Thank you for your efforts.
That's the worst thing he could do right now.
Yeah.
The
Because
worst thing he could do.
You're blaming it on a bloke who's been here, 2-ish months?
And hardly here because he's had pneumonia.
And hardly because he's had pneumonia and everything else. And at the end of the day, if you didn't spend all this time, listen, your heart's in the right place. I get that. But your advisors you have around you are useless. Get rid of them. And get people in that know football. This Pack Theory bloke who's been your right-hand man, he is a shambles.
Did you just call him Pack Theory?
Yes,
If you just combine their names and they like bromance now, if you ship them.
Yeah. It's been a long day. Paxio, thank you. But he's not the person who should be around the club. If you've noticed anything, it's gone from up here to be like very close to playoffs to down. And you can't blame anyone but yourself for the point deduction we got. That's on you.
I have said that, and this is my way of saying it, if Chancey is watching, if he's got advisors in the club that keep monitor what the fans are feeling, which, if to be honest, a well-run football club should be doing that. They should be monitoring everything that's got a bit of an audience, and we've got over 1,000 weekly listeners. So yeah, that listen to the whole thing. We've got more than that, but we've got the stats, by the way. I just want to say, we'll say this in here. Thank you. Over 1,000 of you watch the whole bloody thing, and that's mental because we waffle for quite some time. But
you even listen to me make horrendous speaking mistakes.
Yeah, but he should definitely listen to fans that have got voices, especially with the amount of discussion that goes off in our comment section. And if he is listening or he's got somebody, he needs to come out and speak. Right? I'm not going to tell him straight away that he needs to sell the club. My situation is he needs to tell us what's going on at the club.
Yeah,
and if he has screwed it up monumentally, right? He needs to fix it before he sells. Because part of me now is like, if your heart's not in it to the point you're not even talking to the fans and you've got us relegated, you should leave. You should sell. But before you go, if you have damaged the club, you need to fix that. You need to fix it and then you sell to somebody else, because you can't just come into this club, go for it, spend a load of money, put us in a load of mess, and then not clean up your mess before you walk out of that door. That is what the worst thing you could do. Forget the stick you're getting. You're going to get stick, right? And I don't tolerate, we do not condone any of the levels of abuse that he can get.
Nope.
But if you've got to clean up this mess before you decide to sell, if you jump ship, that's the worst thing you could possibly do.
My only kind of thing, I understand that you're being a remote chairman at the minute. You haven't been here. In the past, you will be at Wednesday for 6 months of the year and then 6 months back in Thailand, where you will be able to be a bit hands-on with what's going on.
Could he not have moved?
Not when the pandemic hit, no.
No, but there's been times where there's travel restrictions have lifted during that, so surely couldn't he have moved?
He could have done, yeah, fair enough.
I don't know if I'm being, I might be being a bit harsh there, and I apologise if I am, but it's the same with the Super League owners that are never there. Do you know what? All that talk. Yeah. Like, if this is going to be there, you want to bed in.
The difference is with like the Super League, the Liverpool lot, they actually get to know that Duff beat them. We only hear from Chancey when it's gone really downhill and getting bad negativity. It's like the PR people have gone, right, you're getting really bad PR, you need to come out. And for Christ's sake, Chancey, stop blaming us fans. It's doing my head in.
Yeah, customers. We're customers, you know, and
yeah. Stop. Just I like it, but you say you told me to buy Jordan Rhodes. Well, you shouldn't use a club to buy Jordan Rhodes. It should be that we scouted him for this long. It should be this much. That's it.
Yeah, we said that. We've said that before. You know, we've said that. Interesting
comment from Darren Moore. Actually, if you want it,
go for it.
It would be really wrong for me to speak here about futures. I have got meetings booked and schedules. And these are the first, then I'll let them think. I hope that's not a meeting about his future.
I hope it's not. I genuinely, it's about the players. It looked like the players to me because he was asked about the players out in contract. So I'm going to read what the Trust have said on this, because the Trust have come out and made a statement. Okay?
Have they?
Yeah, the Wednesday Trust. So they've come out and gone, although relegation to League One has been expected for several weeks, expectation does not lessen the pain now it's confirmed. The 12 and ultimately 6-point deduction we began the season with cast a cloud over the season before it began. The 2 independent panel hearings confirmed that the points deduction was imposed not because of the sale of Hillsborough was outside of the permitted rules, but this is in bold, but simply because the paperwork associated with the sale was not submitted to the correct deadline. Derby County managed to get this right. Sheffield Wednesday did not. And it seems this act of gross incompetence is a contributing factor to our relegation. To add insult to injury, in pursuing this strategy to avoid points deductions, our club has ultimately lost ownership and control of its historic home. Rather than playing there for free, the club must now pay £2.5 million in rent for each of the next 30 years to continue playing at Hillsborough. With significantly reduced income in League One, this is a huge sum to factor in annually and will take precedence over player wages. We fear the club now faces a real crisis and that has been building for 4 years, whilst those in charge of the club has done little to avoid it. As Steve Chu, a member of our advisory panel, recently commented on Twitter, Sheffield Wednesday has become a team without enough heart and money without a soul.
Yeah,
now,
I agree with that.
There's a lot more to this, but I'm not going to read the whole statement. Now, I will say, in the past, we've said the trust has kind of like tried to toe that line with Chancey and not ask the pressing questions that we wanted them to ask, and different boards of panels have not pushed him enough when it was obvious that we were heading to League One, and they've kind of talked about all the merchandising and all of that stuff. The focus has not been in there, and I know they would basically have their panel shut down pretty much, and I know that's why they've not done that. But this time, I must say, that is they have put it exactly how it is.
Yeah. The stadium situation, I understand what they're saying, and that is scary. You never want to go down like a Coventry situation, who have now recently got the Rico back. Congratulations for that. That is huge for you, especially being a championship club. You can finally next season play at home and not Birmingham City. But it just goes down to this whole situation. When we were doing good, we did have little bits of communication for him, but not much. We didn't need it. These little mini press conferences for 2 hours or whatever. And one of the things I want out of everything, just if you're not comfortable with using English, get a translator. Please. Because
I don't know, he speaks good enough English now. I just think he avoids questions.
Yeah. But
he avoids questions, he avoids responsibility. In my opinion, he started to avoid responsibility by... Do you remember how arrogantly he said last season that we're not going to get... Earlier this season that we're not going to get relegated? I'll sort it out before that happens. He's let us down. It's on him. So for me, right now my emotion's saying sell the club, but part of me is also like... Well, the big part of me is you can't sell the club unless you fix your mess, right? And if you are committed to this club, you need to talk to us now and you need to do things properly. If you're going to stay in ownership of Sheffield Wednesday Football Club, fix your mess, communicate with the fans, stop hiding things and fix it properly. Because we are now relegated for the first time since I was in bloody like college. Do you know what I mean? Like it's been
9 years since we've been in League One.
A long time.
The thing is, you came here with grandiose plans of Premiership. I understand that. And you can say you've spent money, which you have. You've given us ambition, but there've been times.
We've paid for that ambition though, Jake.
I know.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, because I've given credit in the past where it's like,
what I was about to say was, you've spent 39 million on players, but only sold 7 million players. That's not how a football club works.
Yeah. He forgets the ratio.
To sell players.
He talks about it though, like, oh well, the fans don't put anywhere near as much money in, and I put all this money in, and sort of thing. You forget relatively to what you're worth. Think about what your fans. A lot of fans, right? And this is what annoys me in football. A lot of fans have to pay so, especially with Sheffield Wednesday, we have to pay so much for bog standard football, and we've just been relegated. And if we were in, we'd still be paying for like some Class A tickets, Class B tickets, still be like 42 quid. Do you know what I mean? And it's
What annoyed me in that fan panel that he did, where he said we haven't spoke about the long term and what ticket plans are going to be. That screams as someone who doesn't have a clue what's going on.
He's demanded more and more from the fans. He's played down the fact that the fans don't pay that much, right? And he thinks they're like, oh, well, they want Premier League football. Yes, we want Premier League football, Chancey, but you've got to realise that some of these people spend over a day's wage to go to a match. You know, some of the people don't have. Some of the people, you know, are just scraping by.
Some of the people will get their season ticket on a financial thing, so they pay so much a month.
Yeah, some
Because
people
they want to watch it.
everything about it, right? And you forget that you can easily wipe out, for most people, for a lot of people, you can easily wipe out half a week's wage if you are slightly out of Sheffield, you're travelling to there, you go into the match, you know, you're doing that for the match. If you're just buying a day ticket, that sort of thing. If you're buying these 5-year season tickets, all these seasons,
10-year season.
Oh, it's just it's a mess. And for me, fix the club and either give us some real statement of intent or move on, because I'm tired. I'm tired of it. We're relegated, and that's the line. The buck stops with him.
If you keep going like this, we could easily go down to League Two. And if that did happen, Portsmouth was a club that Milan sold to someone who wasn't great, kind of thing, and they went to League Two. You've now got to be very, very careful, and you can't use it's all the fan faults, or they don't pay me this, they don't pay that, they don't pay this, I'm paying this. We understand that you're paying it. That's the whole point of being a business owner. You pay those things. The simple fact of paying your players on time, 3 times this season, you've not done that, and going into a situation where we're about to need them to put their bodies on the line to stay up.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a player now, the first thing you're saying to your agent, if you've got a contract, said, am I going to get paid on time next season?
Cutting in the edit here, because of course, when I've had many alcohol and food, that Chancey releases a statement, but it wouldn't be fair of us to not include this part of it because it's very relevant. So Chancey, on the evening of Sheffield Wednesday's relegation, releases a statement that is as follows. As your owner and chairman, I take full responsibility for everything that happens at our club. I am the leader, and in good times or bad, the responsibility for Sheffield Wednesday lies with me. I am sorry to you all that we have been relegated. This was never what I anticipated when I came to Hillsborough in 2015. My vision was to take Wednesday to the Premier League. We came so close in 2016, and then again in 2017, and since then the times have not been so good at all. In football, in sport, there are highs and there are lows, and right now this is the lowest I have felt, and I know you will be feeling the same. There are no guarantees in football. We have tried our best, but our best was not good enough. We must now face the reality of what lies ahead, and for next season at least, that is League One. We must pick ourselves up from the floor and move forward in a positive way. We have had plans for both scenarios, and now our immediate future is clear. We can start to put those plans in place. I can pledge that as chairman, I will give everything I can offer, as much support as possible to everyone as we try to achieve promotion at the first attempt. There are issues we must address in the short and long term, and some things will not happen overnight. Darren Moore will be the manager for sure. And at the moment I mention Darren's name, I must wish him all the very best as he continues his recovery from illness. Health must come before anything else, as this past year has taught us more than ever. I would like to say thank you to the coaching staff who stepped up in Darren's absence, and also to everyone who has worked so hard during what has become one of, if not the most challenging season in the history of Sheffield Wednesday. It has ended in the worst possible way, but we will have to look for the light at the end of the tunnel. We will rebuild on the pitch and off it. The day when fans can return again cannot come soon enough. I say thank you to our fans. It has been soulless without having you following the team home and away, and I know all clubs say the same, but we have missed your support so much. Like all of you, I hope that life can return to normal soon and in football. That will mean having our fans back in Hillsborough and following the team around the country in the numbers that you do. You do not deserve this end to a season that in so many ways we will want to forget, but in others we can look back on in time as a turning point for the revival of our club. Quick thoughts on this before I let you get back to the main segment of the podcast. I think it's good that he's coming out. It's a start. I know for a lot of people this won't be enough, but if you think about the lack of apologies that some Premier League clubs have been getting recently, for his faults, this is an owner that at the heart of it does care. We've just not seen enough of that. We need more of this. This is not a one-off. This needs to be a thing of constant communication. If he's going to stick around at Sheffield Wednesday, I stand firm on that. This is not going to soften anything on that front, but it is a start. The positive is he sees the support behind Darren Moore. He's going to back Darren Moore, and he says he's got a plan. We need to hear what those plans are now for those scenarios. It's obviously very early. The statement's just come out. This podcast was edited and uploaded, by the way, so I've had to pull it down and re-edit it. So that's fun. But I thought we've got to talk about this because even though it's early stages, he says he's got plans. He says he's got scenarios for League One. Let's see what they are and they unfold. And I'm sure we'll talk about them very soon on this podcast. But let's get back to the main episode. Can't believe, to be honest, they put a hell of a shift in to say they've not been paid since April, right? Today, in terms of the Derby result, I'm not angry with the performance, right? Let's talk a bit about the emotion of the players at the end. What did you see?
I saw a lot of broken players. I saw a lot of players who were Borna particularly. Borna. Yeah,
we get comments all the time. I've got to correct it.
Yeah. He looks got Westwood had now got he literally got a relegation on his CV, which he never had. On the kind of thing. He looked at Bannon. Bannon looked like he was ready to start for League One, but trying to get players up. He was actually doing what a captain should do, going around making sure everyone was okay. But there's a lot of players who you know that are not going to be there next season because they don't have to be there because they have no contract. Yeah. And a lot of them won't already know, but it's very difficult to judge the players on that performance because
Westwood was in tears, wasn't he, as well?
Yeah,
like Westwood was in tears.
Westwood, I can see signing another contract.
I'm a bit gutted because I think he was in tears because he knows the club aren't going to be able to afford to keep him.
Yeah. And his kid's a big Wednesday.
Yeah, but it's a case of he also needs to move now because he's got to set his family up, right? And that's the thing. He needs a move. If Wednesday can't pay him decent money, he needs to be. And don't get me wrong, boohoo, man, earning a lot of money, more money than I've probably ever earned. Do you know what I mean? In a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's one of those where fair, like, but he did put it out there, and he nearly he made a hell of a save towards the end of that kept us in it. You know, and I can't fault Westwood today. I can't fault Bannon. I'm gutted for Bannon. I'm gutted for
Windass. Windass
was good.
Windass and Dunkley, that's two CV. They've got 2 relegations on their CVs in 2 seasons.
Windass doesn't. It annoys me that you say that because he was with us. So he doesn't have it on his CV.
No, true.
You know, I know you tried to get pedantic on that.
He does now then.
Yes, now he's got 1 on his CV, yeah.
But I think it's a difficult one because there was a bit where Shaw was going to get the ball for Paterson and Paterson shoved him out the way, said, just give me the ball. And it kind of like Paterson putting the effort in, you're trying to slowly give him the ball. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we know you're going. That's fine. It would have been nice to see Deli Batshuayu come on just to see that. But I think you're going to see players like Deli Batshuayu, Green, maybe some of the younger lads come through. And I see this as a chance for Wednesday to build bridges if they're clever, because League One, you need to have that community aspect.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have it, it's gone. That's one of the big things that Milan did. He tapped into that. He started ours in the park. I think we were in League One when we did ours in the park, or was it when we got the Championship?
I never went back then. I was at uni.
I can't remember.
No, it must have been the Championship. Oh, I don't know, because I remember when the first ones I heard of were going, were back do you know when they had bands on?
Yeah.
I was at uni back then. So it was Championship.
But it is that thing. We had that kind of thing because of the whole situation pandemic. We haven't been able to do it. Judging the emotion on the players, there's a lot of players there who know they're not going to be there next season, but there's a lot of players there that I saw actually did care that we went down today. And if all these people say they don't care, they deserve to go down, they don't deserve to get paid, well, they still played even though they'd not been paid. And fair play to them, they didn't have to.
I'll bring you Darren Moore's entire reaction as well, because we're talking about players. So Darren Moore, I said to the boys they had to come here today and leave everything on the pitch as they did. It was a pulsating game and it didn't go our way. It's a wonderful club. I'm proud to be here. It's a huge task and it will take effort in the roads ahead. The players, as you can imagine, feel low. You could feel the emotion out there and we face the reality of what it is. I have one head on me today. I'll have a different one tomorrow, and when it comes to moving forward and implementing things, what we want at the club. It would be really wrong for me to speak here about futures. I've got a meeting booked and scheduled in. I've got meetings booked and scheduled in. We'll have those first and then let the supporters know. I think that is with the players, Punk. Individually, they will be asking themselves in there, replaying the game in their minds. There is very little you can say to console them. They left everything out there today. We knew the task of the job here, the one I'm committed to. It has whetted my appetite. The focus and attention is to look forward and move on now. It's an important summer ahead, and that is, you can't understate how important this summer is, getting it right. I think Darren Moore is the man to give it a rebuild, and I don't give a crap what anybody in this comment section might say in opposition to that. Because to be honest, most Wednesday fans see that, right? Most Wednesday fans see that Darren Moore actually did get more out of his players that the results were already going, the heads were already gone. It looked like relegation. He came in as the sixth manager. He came in as that sixth manager in that dugout, fifth, but then we had obviously switch. Yeah, and it was a case of he brought some heads up. He lifted some heads up, and I am happy that he is currently in charge, and the worst thing that Chancey could do would be to sack him right now.
Well, let's also remember there's a lot of Doncaster Rovers fans who were gutted that they lost him, because they were looking at promotion, and they missed promotion this season. A lot of them are blaming Darren Moore now for the upheaval. And the big thing we got, that could be a tasty fixture next year. I just realised. Wow. But
that's an easy away day, that as well, actually.
Yeah,
like
it is, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, I could go see people, actually.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we'll go together and just
yeah,
maybe we'll see. Go on.
But Darren Moore got to be the bloke to rebuild it. But Chancey got to do what he said he's done with every manager and back him. If Darren Moore says, I want this player and it's this much, let him in. Or if Darren Moore goes, we need to sell this player so I can get this player, you sell, and you sell for this price. None of this holding club for ransom now. We can't do that.
No. Dunkley's come out and spoke. It's been a tough season with adversity. I can only apologise for giving away a penalty kick, which I know words isn't good enough. I won't hide from criticise, but he means criticism. I see the support and I see the threads too. Nevertheless, the team has to come back stronger. We'll give it our best next season.
You reckon he could be a captain if Bannon don't want it? Because I think Bannon might not get captain next season. And I think that might be a good idea.
I think he'll be vice captain.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. It's a weird one because we're sat here knowing that it's like what you said. How many times have we said we're nearly relegated this season?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I'm just replying to Dunkley as we carry on the podcast. Really unprofessional, but why not?
It's fine.
Carry on.
How many
guests?
How many times have we said we were relegated? But how many of us actually really thought we were going to survive this season with the team we had? Come on, let's be honest. When we saw that minus 12 point deduction originally, we did well at Cardiff. Then when it started to go downhill, I said if we survive, that's the best thing we can do this season. We've not done. We finished bottom.
Why am I not gutted? Why have I not got that sinking feeling I've had with every other relegation?
Because it's been set in stone nearly all season.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? It's like it's been one of those where I've felt it coming. We knew what was happening. I knew exactly what to say in that video.
We haven't seen the push say, right, we've got up to here, we can go to here. We've been like, well, we're in the bottom three still.
Yeah.
That's been it. I'm more gutted for the fact that you're gonna have some players that we know we can't re-sign because we're not gonna be able to afford wages. I'm gutted for the fact that we've not had fans in this season, which would have made a big difference. Just having them behind them to go when we're going.
I've said that all season. They wouldn't switch off as much. They wouldn't be. Yeah, it'd be a lot better. However, it is unacceptable that we've finished bottom of the table.
No, yeah, it is.
And this is where
everyone picked us to be bottom, which is weird.
But it's weird because I predicted it. I think I put us in 20th or 21st. I thought it was going to be a final day sort of battle, but here we go. 41 points for Sheffield Wednesday, right? Let's compare that to our wins, losses, and draws. So let's look at it without the points deduction in there. So we won 12 games. Rotherham won 11. Yep. We drew 11 games. Rotherham drew 9. We lost 23 games, which is not acceptable. No. But Rotherham lost 26. Wickham.
Two of them were to Rotherham.
We won We won as many games as Huddersfield Town. Right? but we lost. They lost 2 less than us, and that was where it laid. On merit, we beat Derby County. On merit, my prediction was right on merit. I put us in 21st. On merit, we're 21st.
Yeah.
On points deduction, we are
Bottom.
We are bottom. So we would be on 47 points without the points deduction, which would put us 21st, and it would put us 3 points ahead of Derby.
But it still wouldn't be a good enough season.
I get that. But here's the thing, right? It is highly, highly suggested in most media that Derby are facing a points deduction next season.
Yeah.
How lucky have they been that Sheffield Wednesday have been sanctioned with it this season when there was talks about it for Derby last season, but it's looking like it's going to be done on something else because Mel Morris, right, Chancey pushes financial fair play, but Mel Morris is the originator of that crap. They could be going into admin, some of the rumours that are coming out of it. And the fact is, we've saved them this season with that last day performance, right? So potentially, we've ruined our own club with that. That's why it comes down to today as well, because we've ruined ourselves and saved a club who are probably going to get relegated next season, because I reckon a hefty points deduction is coming their way. Is it fair that the way it's played out, if we look at it from that angle, is it fair?
No, it's not. But at the end of the day, we know what the Football League is like in general, and it's just how it plays out. Look at our point deduction. It should have not been on this season. It should have been on the season we actually did the offence in, but they put it on this season.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, you think about us, like where you said we'd be without the point deduction. Would we have got better players in without a point deduction because of seeing the point deduction put them off? Kind of thing.
As well?
I think mentally it messed the players up, which one of the things I want Darren Moore to do more than anything in this summer, get a sports psychologist in that dressing room and get them all to feet. Our mental side of our game, it's been so poor. The moment we go down, the head go. This is the one game where I didn't see that today. And I don't know if that's because they knew there was a lot more riding on it.
It's difficult to say I've been proud. I can't really say I'm proud of the team, but the closest thing to pride today was today. This season was today, seeing that side, like seeing the players give it their all. I was disappointed. I was disappointed in certain players. I'm not going to name names. I'm not digging anybody out. I was disappointed in some players that just weren't as good as they could have been. But there was
weird, isn't it?
a shift in there.
It is a weird feeling right now because
it is a weird feeling because on merit we're not relegated. Do you know? And that's why you've got to take it back to the ownership. And everybody's saying that on Twitter, by the way. That's a big thing now. Everybody is saying that it's on Chancey for the points. I knew this was going to happen. Part of me was if we're going to get relegated, I hope it's not by 6 points. Because if it is, he's going to face it.
Yeah. The problem we got now is...
I'm really looking forward to my FIFA career mode, by the way. I'm sorry to cut in there, but I'm really looking forward to my League One rebuild. That's the only positive.
I actually said that to my missus. I said I'm going to finally enjoy FIFA with Wednesday again because I can go from start from bottom thing. And she said, you could have done that anyway by taking them out and changes. I said, yeah, that's not the point.
It's not the point, no, because you build them up. I love taking over Sunderland and taking them to the top of the Premier League and the Champions League because they've got decent and Wednesday are going to be oh God, I've just said Wednesday are going to be the next Sunderland. Get the cameras in, lads. Netflix, move in. Tell you what, let us do it. We'll do a documentary.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I've got media training. I'll do it. We'll do it. Let's do it. But no, I'm not gutted. For me, I think this is potentially a chance to watch. This Wednesday team has been so inconsistent, and for me, get them gone. Do it properly. I want.
Well, what have I been saying all season? We are consistently inconsistent.
Yeah,
that is Wednesday in a nutshell this season. And you look at all these stats, you look at all these new stats we got, and which you don't want to hear. At the end of the day, it goes down to how the club's run. We know the club's not being run right. We are fans. If you want to go down like a Man United and stuff, I'm not for the protesting because it's not going to do anything or fall on deaf ears. All you're going to do is going to get a lot of angry he'll be reticent going, can you please go home, football season finished. But if you want to do it, the problem is people are saying, I'm not going to buy this, I'm not going to buy this. The difference is Man United can afford to lose money when they can't. You're buying your season ticket, you're buying your shirt, that helps. You buying your iFollow passes, that helps us. I've always seen people go, we'll do Man United. It's like, they've got money though. We lose money, we really do struggle.
I really thought we might stay up today, you know.
Yeah, so did I.
Like,
yeah.
I didn't feel it all season, but today I thought, you know what? It's just the only thing I was worried about was the Rotherham result. I actually I had to put money on us putting a shift, and we did put a shift in. Just that penalty, like, I feel for Dunkley because he's going to get set. But in fairness, I've read his replies, and his direct replies have been quite positive.
Yeah, it's going to be a small amount of people who are going to give him the abuse, and at the end of the day, it feels like a really weird podcast because it's a little bit all over the place because I thought it was going to be, because we don't know.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I got, which I didn't know, and I don't know if you knew, you know Manchester United's ground, it doesn't have a big screen right there. We do. We have that huge big screen in the corner. Man United don't. And it's
They've got to have.
No, they don't. Man United do not have a big screen.
I thought the VAR, I don't know why we're talking about this, but the VAR rules, like, I thought they had to have them because VAR has to be shown to the fans.
I don't think they've got one. I think I read somewhere that they don't have like a big screen. Like one of the Man United. No, this is good for a Man United fan.
Right, but I still think you're wrong. I think they've got. Yeah. They might not have a big screen, but they've got to show VAR decisions to the fans.
You're saying you think I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. Windass had pace. You've been telling me all sodding season.
No, it's one of those where I just wish it's a crap day. It's raining outside, but it's where I wish I could just go to a pub, and like I can technically go to a pub, but I've got to wait until.
Oh dear,
what's happened?
I've just seen on Twitter there's a protest kicking off outside Sheffield Wednesday, and somebody wrote on the next home game versus on Chancey out.
Can you send me this so I can put it in the podcast?
Yeah,
so,
of course I can.
Breaking news on the podcast, even though you'll have seen this yesterday, there's some protests going on.
It's nothing compared to...
Is it just a dude in his Corsa like, Chancey out? Or is it actually like...
Hang on, I'll tag you in it on Twitter.
No offence if you got a Corsa, just don't hang out at McDonald's and pick up underage girls, because that's usually the stereotype.
Where
I was a Saxo kid back in the day. Go on. Where do we go from now?
Where do we go from now, then? Let's go from there. Are we going to see a summer where we're hearing about a Chancey going, or are we going to hear a media blackout?
I'll be honest, mate. I don't really feel like that's what this podcast. I think that's going to be more the Monday when we've thought about this for a little while. I think this podcast has got to be the raw reaction to going down and the feelings and the emotion, because that's what gets lost in a lot of football. You can look at it objectively, but you forget the emotions that are with it. And the thing I'm finding most.
I just read something on Twitter. It made me.
Hang on, let me finish 1 second. The thing I'm finding most egregious is the fact that I am detached from it. Do you know what I mean? There's no emotion there, and that's a big point of it.
You've been looking for, detached.
I've used it twice. Have you been drinking? Yeah. Carry on. Go on. What you were saying.
Somebody just put the clown car that is Sheffield Wednesday has officially crashed.
Do you know it's bad when we had blades in the... it's bad for Sheffield football when we had blades in the stream, right? And they said, there was one that was being an arse, because they always are. But like, there was a couple in there that were going, I don't even want to gloat at this because Sheffield has sincerely let football down in general. Yeah. Like, we're both awful, you know?
Oh, God, yeah.
And part of me's like, I'm glad we got relegated because they'd trash us next season if we were the same as this, unless we'd rebuilt properly, because we are not good. Okay, so next game. Chancey out. Yeah, so it's on the if that wasn't explained well by Punk, he probably did. I probably wasn't listening because I'm ignorant. But you know where it's got next home gate outside of the fence at Wednesday? It usually says on, and then you can put in the teams, so like Wednesday versus Forest or whatever. In that, somebody's wrote Chancey out.
So Alex Miller has said Kieran Westwood was in floods of tears as he walked off the pitch, probably final game in a Wednesday shirt, and that's sad. He'd been such a servant for us. And
what was that? Sorry?
Kieran Westwood in floods of tears as he walks off the pitch. probably for the final time in a Wednesday shirt.
I hope it's not. I hope it's not, because we're going to League One. He's not injured currently. If he can keep injury-free, give him a year.
Yeah.
Give him a year.
I hope that's just him being gutted for the performance, and he goes, you know what, I'll take lower terms to come back and rebuild.
Also, mate, it's the first relegation on his CV.
Yeah.
That's going to hurt. Because there is still players that care about the game. A lot of it's money, but at this level, there is some players that still care about it. And you got to remember, Westwood's been with us since we nearly got promoted to the... That's the thing. You can see these players, and there's some... Right, this is controversial, and I'm not saying anything on this, and I'd love to get... Because we are going to speak to some people that have been around those teams and things.
Yeah.
I'd love to know what the difference was from that first promotion push under Carlos to the second, because the players we brought into that second season didn't seem to care about the club as much in the long run. You know, like Adam Reach, I guess it's a bit harsh of me to say that and sort of thing, but like those that came in after they saw us have a successful season were so different to the players that have stayed from the first season that were here when it was just the promise of us actually doing well with a takeover. They didn't have the season before to see that we'd got top six, you know, and like that's the likes of Bannon, that's Westwood, you know, the players that still, Hutchinson, those players.
Well, that just hit me. That could have been Hutch's last goal in a Wednesday shirt.
I don't think it is. I think Hutchinson's staying.
I think he may have actually played more of those games to extend his contract, you know?
Yeah. I would, honestly, I'd keep, especially today, looking at that man, keep Hutch on for me.
Yeah.
Keep Hutch, keep Westwood. We're going to lose, I'm sorry, guys, this means we're going to lose Relegated. We're going to lose, we're probably going to lose Harris. Actually, let Harris go. He's been bob at these past couple of months. Sorry, Harris, because you've got a lot of skill, but like not this past couple of months. It's been disappointing. Reach will go. Rhodes will go. Rhodes has got to go.
Yeah.
Because we can't afford him. Unless he brings his wages down. That's the only way I can see him staying, but I don't think he will because he's not got that.
Though, in League One.
Yeah, that's if they both stay, but we'll definitely keep one of them. I want Paterson to be more of a cam than a striker. He's not a striker. Stop playing him as a striker. They have stopped that. Darren Moore has stopped that. He is more of a midfielder, attacking midfielder. Palmer, I want him to stay until he ends his career. He's Wednesday through and through. You know.
You look at this season and it point deduction, it's injuries, and a complete car crash of managerial appointments, and that's what's done it. In a nutshell,
it's really difficult not to get red wine teeth. And I'm just trying. I'm on a podcast. I keep doing this. Just like I don't want to get red wine teeth. Carry on.
And at the end of the day, we are going to lose a lot of players. We already know that. We've got a lot out of contract. And to be fair, there's some that we really should be getting rid of because they've been here too long. And it's time to move on. This is going to be the biggest summer for Wednesday in such a long time now. Because this is, you do it right, you could do a Hull. You do it wrong, you don't know where it'll end.
Let's get some reaction from Twitter. I can't believe I'm saying this, but we've not talked to our community because it's so hot off the press. You are going to have a whole episode dedicated to you guys, so this is the best time to subscribe. So, Added on Time says, Darren Moore on the sideline. Looks out on his arse, totally run down and exhausted, but there he is. In the pouring rain, leading that team in my club. That dedication I have respect for, my gaffer. Okay, that was when Wednesday were leading at half-time, right? But I
still agree with the sentiment.
I do, yeah. This is about Chancey, Jeff. I'm looking at top tweets, so well done if your tweet got a lot of likes. I'm crap at Twitter. Jeff Sheffield Wednesday says, you took our stripes, we still bought the shirt. You stole our crest, we still kissed the badge. Whatever scandalous prices you charge for tickets and merchandise we paid, all for what? League One, it's time to go. Chancey out. I get that. I also think that's a complete copy of the the Kroenke sign from Arsenal recently, but it fits. And I think the rest is from journalists that I want to make sure I've read properly before I read in a podcast because they don't like getting misquoted, the journalists. So we're not going to read any more on that one. it's done, innit? It's done. Season's over. At least we know where we are now. I really am interested to see how this develops. And one thing I want to say, because we're not going to do a long one today, we're not going to go on for the sake of going on. There's probably only going to be one breakout, and it's probably going to be this should Chancey sell the club. However, because we are potentially recording the next episode on Monday with the fans, maybe so it's going to be the community episode. So it will still go up on the Sunday, but we might do a sneak preview breakout if we get a good topic in that. So we've got content on the channel in the week. But yeah, it's and
we will be keeping the podcast going during it.
Definitely.
I
guess we can look forward to the Euros, because we're talking about the Euros. That's one thing. Talking England's going to be a thing. There's a lot to talk about. We had to do this hot off the press because we're fans reacting to our club getting relegated, and let's just have a quick look at the clubs in League One. Was it League One's final day? I don't think it is. I think they've got a few.
No, wasn't it?
How many matches do you play in League One? Is it the same? Is it 45?
Please.
Just you Google that. I'll look at the table. So, big away days next season, potentially. If the playoffs are currently Blackpool, Sunderland, Lincoln and Portsmouth. Lincoln, I love Lincoln's away day. It's really easy and I like Lincoln and I go to Lincoln a lot, so I want Lincoln to stay down, so we've got that away day.
If you go to Lincoln, can you do me a favour? Can I get a video of you absolutely hammered going down a hill?
Going down a hill. That's a misconception. No, there is actually a lot of hills in Lincoln. But Charlton are there. They could just about reach playoffs unless today was the final day. There's Donny, who are in 12th. Jesus Christ, they've fallen. There's a lot of these I just know I'm not going to. I'm not sodding off to Wimbledon.
Are you going to go down to Plymouth?
No.
Well, hang on. If you actually go down to Plymouth, can you just go get loot?
I'm going to, if Lincoln don't get promoted, I'm going to 2 away games next season, and it's Lincoln and Donny. The rest can sod off. We'll watch them from afar, but it's because Hull are coming up. Peterborough Peterborough are coming up. Blackpool, Sunderland, Lincoln, and Portsmouth are in the playoffs. I'm looking at that and I'm like, there's not. If we keep hold of a good core of this team, Bannon, Westwood, Hutchinson, Green,
we can do
Paterson, Windass, we can come back up. Yeah. That is what I want to end this podcast on. We can come back up. I've just looked at the teams in there, and yes, we'll probably get beaten by Fleetwood because that's the way it's going to go. But
no, my mate Ben, who's on this, I'll not hear the end of that.
Lovely, but yeah. Sheffield Wednesday relegated, and that's what you know by now. Let us know what you think in the comments. We want all your emotions, all your thought out stuff. This is obviously coming out a day after, so you've had a night to sleep on it. Probably a hangover too, but yeah. I'm probably gonna go and eat pizza and get fatter and
I'm going
drink
to
more
go
drink.
Eat food and probably my wife play Pokemon.
That's a good shout. Oh, she got Pokemon Snap.
Yes.
I've not bought it yet. However, it's my birthday at the end of the month. Maybe I'll treat myself. But
oh my god, you and my wife have both got May birthdays. Nice one.
Yeah, I know. Tauruses. It's not a surprise, is it? Right. Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for all your support. We'll still be here. Sheffield Wednesday fans through and through. We've seen worse, but it's getting bad. We'll see you on the next episode of Talking Wednesday. Take care, guys.
See you later.